Hi everyone, welcome back to Sage Thyme. I am Lillian and this is your reading today from the lens of Aquarius and how it pertains to you in your life, your natal chart, meaning what planets, points, asteroids, aspects, as well as and especially house placement Aquarius is in your natal chart, as well as influences like Pluto right now, spending the next couple of decades as it's in the beginning stages of transiting in Aquarius. So this will be a lens, whether you follow astrology or not. Let the music, there is music in storytelling, especially a good storyteller, and everybody who speaks about anything, factual or otherwise, is a storyteller. So that wants to be made really clear, to remember that everything is a story. And that's coming up in terms of using the word, viewing this message through the lens of the constellation Aquarius. So let us begin with the story that wants to present itself today, and you can glean from it less from your mind, more from your heart and body and inner awareness, and knowing how this message resonates with you. So there are some, it's a full moon today, right? We've got a full moon in Capricorn. The sun is in at 18 degrees, at the end of 18 degrees of Cancer. So energies are big today, but there's more to it than that. And there's a creative push of energy that's coming through for people who have not had that inertia, that lower dantian, that womb area, first, second chakra energy to give themselves the boost that they need. That's coming in, but it feels very fiery, as creative energy is, and so it would not be uncommon if it's clearing out. I'm hearing debris, but these can be things like career, family, people in your lives, where you live, that have been consciously, unconsciously taking your life force, and that have kept you. I'm feeling this kinship of a collective that has been just trying and trying and trying, just standing up and facing that wave after wave and not giving up. But really all they can do is just use their energy to hold themselves in place, moving upstream type of thing. But the current is so strong. And so now I'm feeling this shift in polarities, so to speak, this shift in the direction of the current. And so it's not that you're swimming in a different direction or no longer standing in the same direction. You're still moving in the direction that you know is true to you. But you're being given the power to change the flow, to work with you. And it's a power that could be utilized with that force and anger kind of energy, but that would be short-lived and short-fused, and a quick burnout and a turnaround, because that's not what you're here for. You're not here for reasons to play the games that we call normal social, cultural structure in society. You're not here for that. You're here to hold the line and pull the line in the direction that you know is right, and you know this to be true. That's why you're at this channel. So let's get an overall card. I'm going to be pulling this from the overall message from the Sacred Earth Oracle. Maybe. I also pulled, there we go. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. Interesting, good, interesting. Specialization is the card that's come forward. And at the end of the reading, we will take some time to get into this card a bit more. But if you'd like to screenshot it, and you can look at the details, you know, crop it and expand it. You can look at the details more specifically. Yeah, this player here, this character, this individual woman imaged here, she's creating a sphere around herself that is, and this came through as I was prepping, that is working with ingredients that she has deciphered. She's gone through and sorted. This is for me. This isn't for me. This is definitely not for me. This could be for me, but it needs to be developed. And I'm seeing all these details of developed skills, developed tools, and they're symbolized through things like the butterfly. And I see citrine here at her solar plexus, rose down at the lower dantian, the cycles of the moon, Easter lilies, and more. So we'll go into that. And there is an owl. Kind of looks like a seagull, but I wonder if they were trying to make an owl. Well, let's call it a seagull because that's what I see. That's above her. And you know what? Seagulls are fantastic. If any of you have ever read the book Jonathan Seagull by Richard Bach, I highly recommend it. He was a very, very wonderful, powerful channeler of wisdom back in 60s and 70s, maybe the 80s too. Okay, so let's get to a couple details that we've drawn for you. So I pulled some stones. I didn't pull, I shook and let them fly out, and they flew in a certain pattern. And that's how I'm reading the stones from there. So in the center of the splay, when the stones hit the ground, is Dalmatian jasper. Might remember this little guy. Whoops. Well, he just took off. And Dalmatian jasper has to do with that the simple joys, the simple pleasures, and devotion to that. So I'm seeing that at the center of the spread of stones for you, emphasizing with Dalmatian jasper that maintaining a theme of joy through simplicity and devotion to yourself in allowing joy to come through simplicity. And not, it doesn't need to be like joy, happiness. That feels very forced to me. This feels like I'm hearing kind of a dignified contentment and peacefulness in the joy, which goes with Beauty Way. And actually that is a card that came out. Spoiler alert, not really. Okay. And then on the periphery, closest to the Dalmatian jasper in the center, is blue calcite. And opposite to that came out sunstone and tiger's eye. So here what that's telling me is holding that devotion of simplicity to joy and having closest in your periphery. And really, actually, and it shows it here, creating a circular zone around you. This is your energetic body, the sphere of energy that belongs to you. It's in your space. It's, you know, a couple feet in any direction around you as you move or stay put. And having that space, the edges of it represent your voice, and which comes with the blue calcite, and then the creative abundance that comes with sunstone, that life force and sense of self capacity and capability, being that knowingness of it, and your voice, along with tiger's eye being that clear, grounded sobriety, strength, protection, energy. All those things together are being what is comprised of not just what's in your sphere, but what is on the periphery of it. What's the actual shell of it? So that when energies that come towards you from other people's thoughts, behaviors, intentions, actions, etc., or just living in proxy to you, when those energies try to infiltrate your sphere, your power at the core is coming, yes, from the simple peace and contentment, quiet dignity of being in a state of beauty way, in a state of joy, no matter what's going on around you. And that peripheral shell of that sphere is made out of the truth of your voice, which can come from your mind when it's clear and grounded with tiger's eye. It's your body is clear, your mind is clear, what you're putting into it through your eyes and your mouth, your skin, what you put on your laundry soap and your soaps on your body, all the things that you use are going to impact and affect the quality and the strength of your core energy and the shield around you and the sphere within it. So that's really great. And then there were two more stones that came out, and they stretched out to the outer edges around. They were outside of that sphere of your bubble. And one is, oh, what's this one called again? Tree agate. Yeah, you know how the focus goes. There we go. Tree agate, and then we've got a little tiny smoky quartz. So smoky quartz is that smoky quartz talks about a lot of things, but I thought I was going to say like focus and clearing grief and everything, but this is outside your bubble. So I think it's bringing in to focus that as you're moving around and interacting with people, this could be something that you're dealing with and that will come into your sphere potentially to be alchemized, and that's okay. You have the strength and you have the power to do it, so be aware of it. And then, oh, that one, the smoky quartz just took off too. It's like, boing, I'm gonna go join the Dalmatian Jasper. Then the tree agate is that connection with nature, that peaceful contentment. And that's really, as it positioned itself, it's in front of you and outside of your bubble. And so it's talking about that you are moving towards being in a lifestyle, a location, maybe even, where you are able to physically connect and be in a peaceful nature, not simply just a crazy metropolitan park with people doing people-y things and all the noises and chaos that come with that. But that's in your future a little bit, so you're getting to that. And come to think of it, the smoky quartz was a little bit in the future, but it was below you. So it's something that it's not beneath you, not in that sense. It's more like it's an undercurrent that you'll be working with, clearing out grief is what I'm hearing now. So I'm glad that came into better focus. Okay. I pulled a few cards from the Mystical Shaman deck. The first three that came out is Coyote on his side. We've got some kids playing outside. Nice. And Coyote came out, I was thinking reverse, but he actually came out on his side. So the coyote's been turned on his side. And we all know about coyote medicine, right? The divine trickster. And I'm hearing right now, I've had enough of that. Have you had enough of the divine trickster? You've gotten the message and it's been on repeat and you've just been sitting back going, I've done this. I have no emotional reaction to it, no psychological need to participate. Why are you still knocking on my door and biting at my ankle? And so the coyote's still present. That's what I'm getting. But he's also on his side now. He's not getting away with his games and tricks. And even though Coyote is a divine trickster, he's still a trickster sometimes. And if all of us play roles, all of us take on characters, any persona equivalent synonymous with ego, any persona that we take on, whether it be a comedian, or gentle and sweet, or reliable, or, you know, all the many, many things. They're still personas. And the catch is, and this is what I'm hearing Coyote Medicine came into your life for, is when we get lost in the character that we're playing and we forget the truth of who we are. And that core truth doesn't have personalities. I've heard the phrase before. I was watching something, I think, and one of the people on the show was saying, yeah, so and so, they spiritualize themselves straight out of a personality. And it's in a way, that's how it is. And when we are in the truth and the core of who we are, there isn't a lot of anything. It's the witness and the ever presence of love, which is not synonymous with what modern culture calls love. That's attachment. True spirit presence of self and love as the witness is absent of any attachment whatsoever. People, things, etc. can come and go, and it's simply a process of witnessing, observing, appreciating. Again, with that Dalmatian Jasper, the contentment of the beauty way, the observation and the enjoyment of it from that as it moves right by you. A stone in the river, a giant stone in the river, does not grieve over every water drop that passes it by. It simply stays present, observes it, and feels as each drop of water goes by in the river, feels and receives the messages that are contained within each drop of that water, the stories that each drop of water has to tell of all of its journeys, from being ingested to being a cloud in the sky and traveling and dancing with the winds and falling as rain or snowflakes, and nurturing a plant and moving through a sunflower, to being ingested and defecated, released, you know, out through the body, all the things. So Coyote's on his side, still looking at you, and also saying to himself, I've been caught, which is great because Coyote lost the plot as well. That energy or individual in your life, it could just be an energy that's moved through a number of people throughout your life recently, or throughout your whole life. I keep hearing throughout your life. That Coyote role that has played a role in different individuals lost the plot, and that was to help you find your divinity within yourself, that pure, clear, powerful light that shines its brilliance and emanates through the physical material that is you, and then creates that beautiful bubble that is your energetic sphere, a bubble that's made out of energies you pulled from the different things around you and from within you. And Coyote's been caught in just playing the same role when it wasn't needed anymore, and getting too full of himself, shall we say, that he was able to get away with keeping a trickster. And so here's you in the center of the three initial cards that came out, the Tree of Life. You've got some strong roots. They're down deep. And you have, with these two aspects of you intertwining that make up your trunk, you've got your masculine and your feminine intertwined now and embodied and joined together, yet distinctly separate. And I'm seeing these butterflies down here. It's reminding me of the monarch butterfly travel, and when they go back from North America back down to Central or South America, I think it's Central America, to the mother tree, and they cover the mother tree, right? It's their home base. But I'm seeing in this image here a distinction where there's butterflies here, but also these leaves are in the shape of butterfly. And the mother tree is saying enough, also, enough. I am here to nurture you and give you a home base, but you may not take my life force from me. There must always be right reciprocity. And I'm seeing right now, I don't know what it really is if I looked up close, but there's this image there in the background. And it looks kind of like a grandmother ghost in the background, because there's this bit of a hunch, and it's not malicious, it's supportive. So I'm feeling like there are ancestors, probably maternal line specifically, that are behind you and supporting you in this. In fact, I'm hearing now, yes, 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 we are all done being the mother tree. You know, another image of the mother tree is when a tree falls and then all the life takes from it and grows and renews itself, which is great because, you know, if the tree has fallen and it's died, then that's its next stage. But here, this tree is upright. And she's still alive and full of vibrancy. And she's taking what's around her in her environment and creating those images as little holographic imprints that are part of who she is, but it's not all of who she is. So she's saying enough. You can be around me and contribute and I'll give back, and that's great. And thank you for your wisdom. I appreciate it, but keep your space. Do your own work. There was something else that popped out in the tree there. I'm just seeing some little fae popping through. And then on the other side of the tree of life, opposite to the coyote on its side, was the owl in reverse. So I just now heard, flip him upright, which let's explore what that's all about. So upside down, I was in reverse. I was hearing that there have been those that have been watching you, and not with the kindest observation. Okay. So there have been energies and maybe even individuals in spirit, could be ancestors, could be otherwise, that have been, wow, okay, that have been, as they do with anybody quite often, but especially with you and others in this collective that will be watching this video at some point. They have been utilizing your difficult life, your path of dealing with coyote medicine and other trickster medicines, as a template for them to observe and learn, kind of like watching television and learning what to do and what not to do, how to be and what not to be, by seeing the different dynamics of individuals in a movie or a show. But they've been doing that with you in real life, and their fixed attention on that, the benefits that they're receiving by observing you without any return of support in any form, has actually in and of itself created a feedback loop that supports them learning through observation by your struggle. So it's, oh yeah, okay, here we go. So that's been turned on its head. Enough of that. I think we just want to stop with that card right now for there, because you're not having any of that anymore. It's not even something to feel ticked off about or upset about for more than just a few seconds, as it needs to run through you. In fact, tuning into those feelings that you might be having of, what the heck, yeah, I wondered that, and yeah, that is true. Feeling if there's any tension spots or ignition spots within your body, go into that and feel that, because part of that is to get a reaction out of you that is detrimental, that does pull your life force away. So containing that sensation within your body, even if it feels volatile or fearful or any of those types of things, creating a bit of a bubble around it, and then quickly going in, moving with your breath and your internal focus to alchemize that. And if in the moment, oftentimes it's like, what do I do with this? I'm upset. I don't know how to alchemize it, or I'm grieving or angry or sad or whatever. Simply keeping it in containment and keeping your focus with the intention of alchemizing it for your best life and best good and the greater good of all and this world as a whole. Everything else in your body and in your energetic system knows what to do with it and will, and it'll move more quickly and quickly as you do this. So that's really amazing, actually, that whole message. Coyotes turned on its side. You are the standalone mother and father tree. You are your feminine and your masculine, intertwined, distinct and separate, and yet together. And for those of you who are looking forward or toward the possibility or considering the possibility of there being a possibility of a partnership in your life, now that tree self has these equally strong internal feminine and masculine integrations, healing, reconciliation, and transcendences, that is the level of which you will be calling towards yourself when the time is right, based on kind of the schematics of what kind of influences you want. But with Coyote on its side right now, that's telling me that this only option of there being potential partnerships that are actually going to end up being tricksters, that no longer is the case. However, because Coyote's not on his head, he's on his side, that could be an influence. So you may be encountering people that are going to require very true and grounded, calm space away from them to take time to discern who they really are. And doing that over the course of time, repetitively. There is no need to rush on any of that, right? If it's there and it's real and it's true, then it's already there and it's real and it's true. And there's no need to intermingle commitments and attachments and contracts, even energetically and mentally, at any rapid pace. Take your time, enjoy the strawberry and the chocolate one tiny bite at a time, savor it, have a sip of water, do something else, and then come back and take another bite. That's a fun example. Okay, I'm playing with in my hand 3 die that apparently wanted to wait, that want to speak to influences in addition to the sign of Aquarius. So we've got Scorpio in the 4th house and Uranus. So I'm going to set those there, and we'll see if I bring it into my conversation or if it's just something that you'll know how to place and apply. Excuse me, my setup's a little wonky, so I'm in and out of the camera a little bit. That's okay. You don't mind, you understand, right? All right. Okay. So the first card that came out after those intro cards is Many Paths, which I saw this card come out and I was like, I felt a surge of frustration. Kind of this statement of, yeah, no doubt, no shit, there's many paths. But which one am I supposed to go on? And then the card, the Beloved, came out on its side. And now I see why that makes more sense. The Beloved is something external, is not the priority. It's not the focus. not from family, not from friends, not from others. Maintaining that inner sight, that inner intimacy, even if you're, make it up as you go. You can, I'm seeing, of course, the actual heart, but it's got a face in it. And then I'm seeing little cells, platelets around everything. So even if you go in and you imagine you can see inside your body, and you can see either whatever shapes and images you want to create of what actually is going on in there. You can make the liver more like a city, or each organ a city, and the blood vessels can be highways, that kind of thing. And be in internal connection with all those little bits and parts and pieces, and the big conglomerations as well, and create an intimate relationship with all of them, distinctly, individually even, right? We've talked about honing in earlier videos, focusing in on one single cell in one part of your body, and having a conversation with that one single cell, and even the little organelles inside that one single cell, even the DNA strands that are breaking apart, replicating, coming back together again. Focusing, however big or small, but move around your body with your internal conversations and thoughts and feelings, and do that more than you are really with the people around you, even in conversation. And this is an advanced thing for sure, but this is something that you're being brought to do. And I'm hearing now that is how you bring the many paths together. And you can see here all these many paths up close, and it's like, well, which one do I take? And they're saying they all come together at the source, at the sun, at the power within your solar plexus. That's your sun. So bringing your focus in, being the beloved of every little being inside your body. Because really, and we talked about this in an earlier video too, science is showing that even electrons, the smallest, one of the very smallest, if not, definitely the smallest measurable subparticle in the body as an electron. And studies are showing that it can have its own consciousness that can be is influenced by our attention and the quality of our intention. So the more we do that, the more we're going to develop what that really means to be within the body and be in communication. You are the God and Goddess of the universe that's within you. So give it the attention. Give each cell, each vessel, each organ, each webbing of fascia, each skin area, everything, internal and on the surface. All the ligaments that hold your eye in place, all the cones and rods within your eye, every little cilia that in your nose that's an olfactory sensor. Get to know each one. And if you don't know anatomy, which, most don't, make it up. Let it tell you how it wants to present itself to you. Or learn the anatomy, whatever works for you. But you get to be the god or goddess of everybody that lives within you and on the surface of you. And that requires attention, right? And participation, interaction, communication, and consistency. Just like with kids, one of the most important things we can offer when we're helping or working with kids or raising kids in any capacity, teaching children, is to show them consistency and reliability, as well as compassion, listening, presence, clear and healthy boundaries, those kinds of things. Because anyone can take, an inch and run a mile with it. Even the internal structures and systems in our body, right? If they have their own personas, and that feels like a rabbit hole to get down, so let's not do that. But fourth house came through with the die. Scorpio and Uranus. Okay, fourth house, the home, the inner home as well. So now we're changing the narrative of focusing on the outer home as a priority to focusing on the inner home as the priority. The outer home will unveil and reveal itself in better quality and even quantity and structure and fluidity and health when that inner home, which is all of this on you, is given the attention and time and consistency and repetition that it needs to feel honored and heard and safe and loved and evolved and built, right? And Scorpio, those are the depths. Those are the deep, dark depths. Those are the caverns that have old structures and ooey gooeys and whatever within all our internal systems and cells and bones and everything, whether it's physical things that we can see like parasites or lesions or plaque in our arteries or whatever, cavities on the teeth, or if it's an energetic, which it always, if it's in physical manifestation, it originated from an energy form, a thought form with emotion, an energetic form that created the physical manifestation. That's how it always works. So we go in, we find where might be we sense a physical pain or a tension, or we see something, we know something because the doctor said it, and we go to it with our consciousness, focusing and developing our focus, the strength and the clarity of that focus into our internal homes, into the deep, deep depths of the scorpionic deep waters. And we go there and we look it right in the eye and we get in our heart and say, what do you need? What do you need to be healthy and successful, little blood vessel, little kidney? What do you need? And how can I do that in a way that helps you and supports you and the system as a whole, the balance and the health of the system as a whole? You are that. And then listen, and then wash, rinse, and repeat, and finding that simple joy, Dalmatian jasper, that quiet dignity of peace and fulfillment and satisfaction by doing that deep work. That's the beauty way. This is the last card that came out so far. Finding joy in that depth work. And Uranus, that was the other one that came through on the die. Uranus finds the new, innovative, never before even conceived or thought of, or it was a lingering hint of a thought that maybe touched you at the edges of your bubble. And you thought, what kind of, that's not a thing. That's Uranus. Uranus is saying, it's a thing. And then we ignore it and it starts knock, 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 knock. The police knock on the door, right? It's a thing. And we, no, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. And I'm busy. I've got to go do my things and make the things and bring in the things and be the things. No, knock, knock, boom. Uranus has brought in coyote medicine enough times that it starts breaking us down a bit, feeling a little worn and torn by the journey. And finally, we break, or we surrender if we're wise enough to have broken enough in the past to know at the soft knock, oh, I need to stop. I need to get still. I'm feeling anxious, tension. I'm feeling confused or muddled. I'm feeling depressed, lethargic. I'm feeling all these things, that anything that is not clean, clear, calm, truth. Not that's my truth or that's my truth. It's, yeah, that's truth. Because I know it. Because I can feel all the truths and reasons that support that truth. And I know I've done the work and the timeline visioning and everything as well. But also because I know what it feels like to know the truth. The truth for me as well as universal truths and those distinctions. Because sometimes the truth for me is not the truth for somebody else. And that's okay too. But that doesn't mean I need to be in their business if it disrupts my truth, my peace, my simple, fulfilled, dignified quietude of joy, my beauty way. And that can and often does involve big work, heavy lifting, intense. But for me, and maybe for you as well, that's a quiet process if viewing it from outside of me. To me, that's the beauty way. It's nothing that needs to be explosive or dynamic. And I certainly don't believe that that's the truth for everybody else. Because just like all the parts in our body, some are electric. You know, we've got nerves that pass through our body that are quite literally electric. Hydrogen atoms, ions, bouncing along these neural pathways and emitting electricity, little pops of electricity each time it lands and moves and lands and moves. And that's its job. And when it's good at it and it's in balance with everybody else, it's not shocking others. But we hear about things like, say, peripheral neuropathy or an external burn from something hot. Well, no, that wouldn't pertain. But from an internal sense, when, say, nerves are going haywire and they start to cause peripheral neuropathy, which is that pins and needles pain, now the nervous system is out of balance. And because that's out of balance, other parts of the body have to try to compensate and keep that managed, and they become deficient. So really what we're doing here is saying, I stay true to myself and I keep that truth neither in excess nor deficiency. I hold it in truth for balance of myself and for balance of others. Abundance doesn't mean I have all the things that I want all the time. It means I have enough to truly feel safe and comfortable and mobile in my mind and my body and my emotions so that I may share from the overflow of abundance as that comes in. And to figure out what that threshold is of enough in things like abundance, whether it be with community and connecting people and interconnections and support, or finances and resources, and saying, do I really need more than that? Do I need to keep consuming? Or can I hear, say, from this point, this is enough. This is really enough. And anything beyond that can be invested into the future and others and this world as a whole. Those are the three things, the three pillars. And in a sense, when saying the world as a whole and others, the ones who have been supporting you in the past and in the present that you haven't been able to reciprocate to. That's another tangent. Okay, so let's get out a couple of supportive cards perhaps. I'm going to pull from the Green Witch's Oracle deck. Let's turn it upside. Let's see, I want to get a little information on the coyote. We're going to turn that beloved card upright too, because now that we have discussed how to bring the focus of the beloved within. There we go. And I was going to pull for Coyote, but this came out as I was discussing the beloved. So let's talk about that. Planning, setting intentions, and optimism. And the card is the sow card. We all know the phrase, you reap what you sow. So what are we planting? And since I was discussing that internal parenting, God or goddess, caregiving for the internal universe, what are we sowing within each and every minute aspect of ourselves? Whether it's a physical cell or an energetic region, it doesn't really matter. It's what it is to you, how you decipher and see it, and that can certainly change. And here you can see this individual is considering with his inner eye one seed planted upon an entire planet. That's all he needs to focus on, is that one intention. And within that one intention, what grows from it? I feel like I want to say more about that. Yeah, I do. Let's talk a little bit about that one intention. Because I don't feel that that's necessarily a unique thing. My tendency to say that one intention is always rooted in love. Love is it doesn't have to be, but for me, I prioritize love as the soil and the inertia of source creation. When we create something, a great example, when a man and a woman create a child together, or even two individuals are creating the intention of adopting a child. When there is a creation, when a painter is creating a painting, and in that creative energy, I'm seeing kind of the waters of the cosmos, which we think are air, but they're waters, the consciousness of the cosmos. When our focus in creating from that cosmic universal plasma, our focus is tuned into love, then all creation within the sights of our focus will come from love, and what that is for us. That clarity, that truth, that witnessing, the care, and the allowance. And then, of course, if we have a different focus that comes from fear programs, lack programs, then those are going to influence the creation. So when we go within, really working to return the focus into that truth core of self, clean, clear, unattached, love-based, relinquishing and allowing, witnessing and observing, learning and growing. Those are the ingredients that create the essence of love that then nourishes the seed that we're sowing within us. Again, within us. We can work to the ends of the universe, the multiverse, to put our intentions into others and the world outside of us. But the strength of that will not have anything close to the potency to actually make big and sustainable changes until that has been done within. You may make big changes, but how long they are able to play out in that positive way may not be sustainable. But what is sustainable and what does catch from one individual to another, be it person to person, person to animal, animal to tree, whatever it is. What does sustain is the work that we do within and that we consistently are devoted to. Oh, I guess I pulled other cards. So I've got rain and fruit. And I think it might just be confirming what I said. Cleansing, rain is cleansing, purification, and hydration. Fruit is achievement and success, right? So what are we nourishing? The seeds that we are sowing. What are we nourishing it with? And that is the fruit of our labors. Internal again. And it's important to remember too, I'm being reminded of the phrase, no mud, no lotus. Again, that's a big part of the beauty way. It's not about eliminating suffering. It's not about clearing out the mud, because without that mud that the lotus drops her deep, deep, long roots into the depths of the dirty, murky waters, Scorpio, again, that is her home. And she has learned to personify the lotus. She has learned that those ooey gooey depths that are dark and once were scary are actually the place where she gets her nutrition, her nutrients, and she's able to root and anchor herself. That is home. And from that, she pulls in that muck, which is really, truly, it's sedimentation and decay of things that have died and excrement from other aqua life. So she's quite factually alchemizing shit to make her colors and her more vibrant and the strength of her petals stronger, and to allow each outer petal, as the inner ones grow from new alchemizations, she's letting the outer ones unfurl and dry out and die and decay and fall back to the ground. And from that, from simply her existence, the dragonfly and all these other bits of life and beings, seen and unseen, known and unknown, benefit. How they utilize that is up to them. But she's not giving what makes her herself away. She simply is. And if others want to be present to that and enjoy the beauty and glory or whatever it is that they get from it, or turn it into something else, which is really hard to do when it is what it is, that doesn't sustain. When people are creating stories and narratives about something that is pure and true and good, and that pure and true and goodness, that individual who is consistently and devotedly maintaining the truth of that, not letting their opinions and thoughts and feelings or social structures that are unhealthy and not balanced, not letting those come in and take her over, staying true to her internal universe, staying true to his beauty and truth and presence and witnessing, staying true to their strength and purpose, which is within them, for them. Really, that's it. Everything else that's perceived and received external, that's the overflow, and that can be shared. Wow, okay, so we were cruising. Let's get really quickly to, it does feel important. Oh, let's turn that around so you can see it again. The specialization card. So I'll look that up really quickly. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming. And that is often a release of something that really was not serving me ever. And also a completion. It's kind of like a 10 of suits. So it wanted to come out, as I was about to read specialization, and then it subsided. So there's something in that. All right. So the card reads, the earthly meaning. Know what you want and do what works. Refine your abilities. Transfer a skill set from one environment to another. Do not underplay what you are capable of. Give up the idea that you must be good at everything. Narrow your interests and build on your existing strengths to conserve output and increase your value. A creative response to change will see you flourish. I'm going to read that again. One sec. Mornings are magical. I get to argue with the cup every day. See that? It says mornings aren't magical. And I'm like, yes, they are. And I anchor it. So now when I see that little cup, I don't even see the negative. I see mornings are magical because I'm like, I know it is. A creative response to change will see you flourish is the repeat. The spiritual meaning. There is a higher purpose to everything, but currently it is not clear. Something in your life is changing, and it is unsettling. Soon the pieces of the puzzle will start falling into place, and you will begin to find meaning in it. For now, trust in the refinement process. But also, that's part of the skill development. Trust in the refinement process. Hone your ability for love and develop your capacity for compassion within, because that's where we experience other people's muck. As taints fall away, the truth becomes clear. I mean, it's like it's reading my words in another language after I speak them. Are you having that happen too? It's so fun when it does. That's when we know we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, whether it's planting a garden or saying something nice to somebody walking in the street or doing a reading or creating a meal to give out to somebody. Anyway, the insight is the Galapagos Islands are home to at least 13 different species of finch. Some eat seeds, some eat flowers, some eat insects. Some are ground dwellers, some live on cactus, and others in trees. One species uses cactus spines or splinters as tools to dig prey out of holes. The differences between the finches are slight but important. Their specializations, just like people and the world around us and within us, all the parts within us. Their specializations mean they are not competing for food, habitat, nor nesting places. It was Darwin's realization that these different species had a single ancestor that inspired his principle of natural selection. This principle is often misunderstood as survival of the fittest. That is a misunderstanding of what he wrote about, implying that life is granted to the strong or the dominant. Strength might be an edge in certain environments, but color, size, shape, song, diet are just a few examples of how a specialization can give a species a better chance. Adapting to an environment isn't about asserting dominance or losing your sense of self. Honing and polishing a skill or behavior towards a certain task, goal, or industry helps you endure changes. Through specialization, you can step outside of competition and create new ways for yourself and others to flourish. What a beautiful way to wrap up this whole message in an incredible specializations bow. And what does that bow look like to you? Is it rainbow? Is it pink with orange polka dots? Is it black with fiery flames on it? Is it clear and translucent and opalescent? Whatever it is, it's yours. Be clear and clean with it. And know that it's important and valuable and essential, as are everybody else's, when working in a way of non-competition, but co-creation and cohabitation and cooperation. That's community. That's a world that is built on a foundation that is sustainable. one that is beyond the idealisms of ooey gooey love and let's hold hands and get together, but gets down to the practical nitty gritty of the everyday roots that also allows people to be who they are. And if it's not working, if the different parts within the body are not working together in being who they are, those parts know how to come together and communicate in a way that listens. And sometimes we need a mediator for that, right? That can be us to our body, our consciousness. And sometimes that can be us in an environment, whether it's an obvious way of being a mediator or a diplomat kind of between dynamics, or simply, often most potently, being a representation, an energetic, harmonic resonance representation that influences everything that energy touches. Energy that comes from your voice, that comes from simply holding in a space of clarity, peace, truth, and cooperation. We do that within, then we simply become it, and we are that outside of us and with everybody else around us. So take that. That's your power. You've got this. We've all got this. We're doing it. And we're going to keep getting clear, getting strong, doing better, and adjusting when we need to. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Your likes, your subscribes, your comments. It's all really important to me in the development of what I can offer to each one of you, as well as a beautiful way to keep the circulation of abundance moving and in flow. So much blessings to each one of you. Aho, take care.